Right, I've finished soldering all the track wiring terminals as I showed you before. The next stage is the point motors to motorise the points. I use and recommend Pico side mounted surface mounted motors. They go on the top of the board. These are the latest ones out. They are very good and they're better than the ones that come under the table. The ones under the table can create a lot of problems for you. I will show you a motor out of the packet. I've got one right here actually. Now it's very important that you position the motor correctly and make sure that the point is moving freely. I will zoom in and try and show you a bit closer. Here's those point motors I was talking about. The first thing to do is position it approximately where it's going to go. The best way is to mount it on the straight side of the point. You put a mark on the table where the wires have to go through the table. You can see there's 3 wires there. They need to go through the table. So we take the point motor away, we get our drill and we drill a hole through the table like so. We then position the point motor back to where it's going to be. Now the point motors actually come with holes already drilled into the sleepers, but they're not big enough because I use the same nails I nail the track down. So what I use again is the drill. You very carefully drill out the hole using the same holes that's in the motors. You can put them in a different position if you want to. It won't matter. So just a very careful quick drill. Now I'm holding the point motor approximately in place. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put some temporary nails in it. I'm not going to nail it down yet because you might have to adjust it. These are very, very tricky sometimes and you might need to adjust them a fraction. So don't nail them right off. Just the little nails in the hole that we just drilled will be enough at the time to position it for you. As you see, we've now got the point motor in place and the point is open. I also forgot that this is the time that you feed the wires. Well, before I feed the wires through the track, I like to test the point motor before I nail it in place. Well, this might look like holy crap, but unfortunately I've had a few issues with my tester. So what I've done, I've run a temporary cables to the control panel that will actually be mounted in this board. The control panel has a capacitor discharge unit which I have jumped across. Now I will zoom into the point motor and demonstrate the point motor working before I nail it down. And you will see that when the thing's working properly, I'll be able to finish nailing it off. You can see the point motor here and the point. I will now demonstrate the activity of it. You will notice the point has changed from one side to the other without any problem whatsoever. This is a capacitor discharge testing unit that I've made up. It's a very good idea if you can do this to test all your point motors and the function of the point before you finish wiring it off. I can now put the wires through the table and finish nailing the point motor in place. As you can see, the point motor is now nailed in place. I will now again test the motor before I disconnect the wires and put it through the table. And as you can see, it's working perfectly. Hi, this is just to show you some of the wiring that's being done underneath the board before we can connect the control panels. You can see it has to be located in a certain position because the table has to be, they can't be hanging down below the table.